I'm rich now, bro. That's all I know. Like, I'm rich, like a millionaire, bro. That's all I know, bro. That's all I know, bro. Wait to see Auntie now. Huh. Just gonna learn today. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all niggas stop playing with me, bro. Gangsta, bro.
DThang was once one of the hottest names in the whole Bronx drill movement, rising fast before getting caught up in a major gang indictment that shut everything down. He eventually came home, but staying out of trouble turned into a whole different battle. And today we're breaking down how he went from brushing shoulders with billionaires to spiraling in Miami and throwing his whole path away. His back and forth with K-Flock was making headlines everywhere when both of them were shaking up the drill scene. One of the wildest parts about this whole situation is that DThang and K-Flock aren't just rivals, they're actually related. They're cousins on Flock's dad's side, which made the tension way more explosive. On the track Is You Ready?, Flock aimed straight at DThang and dropped lines like, "Go ask my ops it get ugly," and "I could do shh like Iced did Sonny," sending a message that had the streets buzzing. He even said people thought he was just a rapper who played around, but he wasn't moving like things were a joke. K-Flock's mom is literally DThang's aunt, and after Flock dropped Is You Ready?, DThang fired back and claimed he was ready to go all the way over this beef too, which had everybody talking. DThang then tossed more shots at Flock in his tracks, rapping quotes like, "They know RRPT, people be on that, and I'm trying to pack me one," before adding, "Family first, so when we see the Flockers, the trolley don't move without Benji." He even questioned how many losses the other side claimed, stirring up the controversy even more. People in the streets were saying that someone named Energy was allegedly harmed after disrespecting someone close to DThang, which turned that whole situation into an even bigger mess. K-Flock also dissed Wu Lottie on War Part 2 and said quotes like, "He ran on Wu Lottie, get back," and claimed nobody was capping for the internet while he walked through neighborhoods ready to let it clap. Wu Lottie and DThang were actually close, but back in 2020, Wu Lottie and a few affiliates tried to pull up on a rival group, and everything went wrong. Some people from the other side jumped out of a car and chased them, and when Wu Lottie stumbled, the rest of the crew kept running, leaving him in a dangerous situation that ended tragically without graphic details. DThang's beef with K-Flock made him a major topic in the drill scene, and his on-the-radar freestyle pushed him even further into the spotlight, racking up over 20 million views and turning him into one of the most talked-about artists in New York. After DThang got locked up in 2022 and spent a couple years behind bars, the drop-off in his career was wild. The momentum he once had in the drill scene vanished fast, and people in the streets were saying he had to fall back on hustling just to keep money flowing because rap wasn't paying him anymore. Then June 2025 hit, and DThang ended up getting booked in Miami on a gun case that made everything even messier. Catching a gun charge while already having a felony history is never good, but DThang got lucky in one way. He caught the case only a few months after his parole ended instead of while he was still on supervision. The state pushed for the judge to set his bond at $25K minimum, but the judge eased up and dropped it to $15K instead. That meant he only needed $1,500 to walk out on bail, but he still stayed in jail for a few days because his pockets were clearly light at the moment. DThang eventually got out on bond, but his career was still sinking fast. He only put out one track in the months after the Miami arrest, and it didn't come close to the numbers his old songs used to pull. Then June 2025 hit, and DThang ended up getting booked in Miami again after cops found him with over 20 grams of weed and cocaine. What made it even tougher was that he was still fighting the original gun case from June 2025. DThang was already staring down a possible 15-year sentence on the gun charge before the new arrest even happened. Normally, felony gun cases lead to around 3 to 5 years, but because he already did time on a gang indictment, the judge might decide to give him heavier time. The new drug charges definitely won't make the situation any easier, and fans have been asking how someone who once connected with billionaires ended up falling off this hard. When DThang came home in 2024, French Montana showed love and gave him a Coke Boys chain, which instantly sparked rumors that DThang signed a deal worth $1 million. But during an interview with DJ Academics, DThang shut all that down. He said the Coke Boys chain was just a gift from French Montana, and he even told Academics that he was the one signing people, flipping the whole narrative. Everyone could see DThang's buzz was fading, but he kept talking like every major label in the game was chasing him down with contracts. He claimed he wouldn't even think about signing unless someone dropped $5 million on the table first. That had people talking, but it's looking like he was capping heavy with all that. What's interesting is, he does seem to have some type of situation with French Montana, because French's Coke Boys records is listed in the credits for every DThang track on Spotify since late 2023. The details are still a mystery though. Nobody really knows what kind of agreement they've got behind closed doors. What throws people off even more is nobody understands why DThang would cap about his connection with French Montana's label in the first place. French is from the Bronx too, and built himself up big. And now he's reportedly about to marry the Princess of Dubai, who people claim is worth over $1 billion. Meanwhile, during his interview with DJ Academics, DThang couldn't stop talking about how rich he was. He said he was a millionaire, said he bought his mama home, and said he bought himself a crib too, even though some sources claim that might not be fully true, since he had no real momentum when he came home in 2024. And here's where the story doesn't line up. If someone is a millionaire, they're not going to rely on a public defender for a serious case. But that's exactly what ended up happening with DThang after his second Miami arrest. You don't need millions to get a solid lawyer, especially if the case doesn't involve anything extreme. But people were shocked that he didn't hire anyone and instead had to use a public defender in Florida. That had the streets asking questions about what his money situation actually looked like.
In 2024, he was bragging about being a millionaire, but rumors popped up later saying he got caught up with drugs and that this led to him allegedly turning against his own people for their jewelry. Then in 2025, a White Jesus affiliate named Lefty Gz called him out. Lefty used to be really active, but after he got shot in the back, he ended up paralyzed from the waist down and now moves around in a wheelchair. People started saying DThang and another affiliate named BG allegedly robbed Lefty and took his watch, which had the whole situation looking even more messy. After that, BG started flexing the watch on IG like it was his trophy. Lefty said the watch got taken while he was in the bathroom, and he made it clear that if BG had tried to grab it in front of him, things would have gone way different. BG clapped back again and kept flashing Lefty's watch online, so Lefty told BG he could wear it straight to his own funeral. Then Lefty said DThang and BG were both smoking K2, and K2 can seriously mess your mind up. And a video popped up that allegedly showed BG tweaking in the middle of the street off that stuff. Lefty kept calling DThang out and said his reckless moves were going to get his whole circle hurt if he didn't tighten up. Then, while DThang was locked up, a video surfaced where he was allegedly screaming for a CO to come help him after somebody came at him with a blade. That clip had people clowning him non-stop. After Lefty started beefing with DThang, he even said he wanted to link up with the dude who allegedly sliced DThang in jail. But DThang made it clear he was still rocking with BG after all that and said he wasn't turning his back on him. Lefty reposted that and responded by saying DThang had been hiding out in Miami because the last time he popped out in New York, someone almost snatched his chain off his neck. People were clowning DThang heavy, saying he was broke and caught up with drugs, and that might be why he hasn't been seen around French Montana in a minute. They used to look locked in, and even Lefty said French gave DThang a deal. But if someone is caught up in addiction and allegedly doing wrong to their own people, someone like French Montana probably won't keep them close. What makes everything look even worse for DThang is that he really let a huge opportunity slip through his hands back in 2022. The cops had been trying to shut down the YGs for years, and they started cracking down hard back in 2014. That year, officers booked around 20 members and labeled the crew as one of the most dangerous groups in the whole city. A dude named Meme was the one leading them at the time, but he wasn't just calling plays. He ended up getting hit with charges connected to 2 cab drivers losing their lives, which pulled major attention onto the crew. Other members were allegedly tied to serious situations too, but what really brought heat on them was that they kept selling to undercover cops without realizing it. The 2014 indictment took a lot of the older members off the streets, but the YGs didn't slow down at all. So the cops came back even harder and dropped a huge 65-count indictment on him, hitting the crew with conspiracy, attempted murder, and a whole list of other charges that had the whole city talking. In 2022, the cops even added an animal-related charge because they harmed a pigeon while live streaming, which made the situation look even more chaotic. DThang already had cases on his record too, and in 2021, he got booked after getting pulled over with a gun that had the serial number scratched off. It's not fully clear how that case ended, but he eventually got sentenced to 3 to 5 years. After the YGs got hit with that big indictment in 2022, DThang ended up coming home in 2024 with his name still buzzing around the Bronx. He dropped new tracks that quickly hit over 1 million views, and he started telling everyone he was gonna save the Bronx drill scene. Plus, DThang was linking up with artists outside the cities like Bonoff 1700, and it looked like he was finally lining himself up for a big comeback. DThang always said he was gonna keep his momentum going, but that's not how life played out at all. Instead of leveling up, he ended up falling off completely. Some people say he just missed the whole wave because he spent years locked up, but others claim it was the drugs that threw his whole career off and pushed him into a downward spiral. Nobody can figure out how he went from allegedly touching millions to having to rely on a public defender. But right now, it's looking like DThang might be stuck in a rough situation. On top of everything, rumors are flying around that DThang is wanted in New York for even more charges, and he might get extradited back there once Florida is done with him. Fighting cases in 2 different states is already a major problem, but the real nightmare for him would be if the feds decide to grab the whole situation and take over, just like what happened with Poe Shiesty or NBA Youngboy. When the feds jump in, the penalties usually get way heavier, especially if you don't have the kind of money needed to bring in top legal help. A lot of fans say the Bronx drill wave is already done, and DThang kept saying he wanted to bring it back and put New York drill in the spotlight one more time. But with all these charges stacking up and his situation getting more and more complicated, nobody knows when or if that comeback will ever happen. If you made it to the end, show some love, smash that like button, drop a comment, share this video with your people, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next story.